Positive Atheism English channel, second part of Atheistic Economics. The main drawback of the method of trusteeship is its non-political character. In the modern age, when social relations are growing in width and complexity, the institutions of a government is indispensable to regulate relations. Evil of centralization should be obviated by increase in the democratic consciousness of the people and their control of the government instead of dispensing with the government altogether. Therefore, the non-political stand of the Bhudan Gramdan was a mistake which rendered the movement pleasantly idealistic but regressive in practice. It could develop no sanctions for its promotion except persuasion, which, when it was couched in the terminology of religious faith, led people into the old days of theistic slavery rather than encouraging them to work for free equality. Trusteeship became another word for a charitable disposition in a system of economic inequalities. Further, the non-political position is tenable in principle if people went to demolish the existing institution of the government with complete withdrawal of cooperation and taxes. But to ignore the government while paying taxes and respecting its laws is like maintaining a servant at a high cost but not taking service from him. So the religious terminology and the non-political stand seriously hampered the progress of trusteeship toward achieving economic equality. Marxism has projected the image of economic equality more markedly than trusteeship has. It has enlisted wide support to its cause of socialism and has taken rapid strides towards the establishment of economic equality. But the method of class struggles which is described by Marx has the same defect as the non-political stand of trusteeship. Marx considered that the history of all hetero-existing society is the history of class struggles and that the government at any time is a reflection of the stage of class struggle. The present experience, however, does not lend support to the claims of the supreme importance to the class struggle. Wherever social governments are formed, the Communist Party captured power not by the much processed graded class struggles but by mass revolts and army corps, as in the case of conquest by non-communists. More recently, in Kerala and in Chile, the Communist Party could get into power through open democratic elections. At best, the promise of economic betterment, which is very pronounced in Marxism, raises hopes in the downtrodden and gets their sympathy more for the Communist Party than for the non-communists. Yet the communist governments have required totalitarian authority in order to wrest the private ownership of the means of production and to socialize them through state ownership. Not infrequently, people have resisted attempts at socialization and the dictatorship of the Communist Party. Propaganda against communism on the score of loss of individual freedom could mobilize people against communist regimes, and anti-communist armies have their victories too. The prolonged war in Vietnam and the division of the world into the socialistic and the democratic blocs illustrate that what is significant in history is not the class struggle but the conflict between the two groups of people who are for and against economic equality, regardless of their present economic situation. That in human affairs consciousness counts more than the class structure is borne out also by the experience of the working of the trade unions. Trade unions are class organizations which are mainly intended to safeguard the economic interest of the downtrodden against the exploitation of the richer classes. If the economic interest were supreme, each trade union ought to stand solid. But in reality, trade unions are easily split on appeals to religious faith, racial distinction, and by affiliation to political parties. Working men wage war against each other for national freedom rather than uniting to break their chains. In countries like India that have just emerged from colonial domination, big sections of the population lead a hand-to-mouth existence due to backward economy. Even if they do not forcibly overthrow social institutions as Marxism expects of them, they should support Communist Party at election because the Communist Party is the spearhead of the proletarian revolution. But the millions of the downtrodden actually cast their votes in favor of the candidates who are known for their capitalist interests. Again, if the circumstance of poverty could create revolution, no circumstance was more compelling than the Bengal famine in India in 1944 to 46. Thousands of destitutes died of hunger in the streets of Calcutta by the side of the shops that were laden with provisions and food. A hungry dog would have pounced on the shops and swooped away some food from the stalls. Why then the hungry destitutes did not loot the shops? All the police force of the society could not have prevented the rush of the desperate destitutes on the shops. What made the destitutes die of hunger rather than pounce on the shops was their conventional respect for private property and their ideology of fatalism. Therefore, a revolutionary situation does not spark off a revolution unless the people have the revolutionary consciousness. Evidently, the consciousness is more important than circumstances. Millions of untouchables and blacks have remained degraded and downtrodden for hundreds of generations because they lack the consciousness of freedom and equality. So the Marxian maxim that the social being determines the consciousness of man is not confirmed in practice. On the contrary, the consciousness of man is creating new situation in life. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to this channel Positive Atheism and activate the bell icon.